Alright, next question from Tanya Burton. Shauna, you gave us your side of the story when you found out that you had a sister, but I'm curious to know how your brothers and mom reacted when they found out about her.
Ooh. Well, you know, the first thing when you hear that is like, I'm like, wait, when did this happen?
Exactly.
So that was the initial sort of like tense, nervous, concerned kind of feeling. But then once I learned the details and understood the story, I was just so excited to meet this person, and not even just for me but for them, because I couldn't imagine being in that position and not having some kind of closure or connection or anything.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that she was so cool and awesome.
Yeah. Once we met her, it was just like, wow.
Oh my God! Even that first day, I just remember we went and we went to a bowling alley or somewhere. And we played,
oh yeah, we did.
We played pool or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember we were playing pool, we were talking, and we were just hanging out like we were just friends.
And they have a lot in common, you and her.
I guess so. Well, because we're close in age. I guess we're closer in age. But anyway, like at one point, I was just like, I think I just said to her, I was like, wow, Kareen, this is all so much cooler because you're not a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, this could have been so much worse if you were like an awful person, but this is really awesome.
Which is why I was afraid. I was like, oh my God, who is this heifer coming into our family? But she was amazing.
No, she's super cool, man. Super cool. So yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, and it's like a really.
She's awesome.
I mean, I think our family has a lot of cool stories around it, and it's just another crazy cool, too good to be true story that happens to be, you know, peripheral to our family, or not even peripheral now, central to our family. You know.
Jason, do you want to chime in?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really feel anything necessarily. No, I mean, I was worried because, you know, I was like, well, did he cheat on mom? But that wasn't a thing, so.
For me, it would have been a confirmation.
Of your...
Because that's what I thought at first. That was actually my thought. And now I kind of just figured there's probably a bunch of others running around somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we have yet to unfold.
Insert shade tree.
Wow, you better edit that shit out. Anyway, okay.
He doesn't watch them.
Okay. Either way.
I didn't feel.
What?
Really
I'm not in. What?
No. I know. It's just funny that, I mean, because.
Sorry, Jason, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we're not divorced for no reason.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Say that again, Jason.
I didn't feel anything really. I mean, I don't react to stuff like you guys do.
Well, actually, when you first came home, and remember when you came home from Chicago, and so I remember you walking in the door, and you were excited.
Of course, I was excited.
You were very excited, and you were almost awestruck because you were like, she's so much like Shauna. It's hard to believe.
Well, that was the weird thing because I looked at her Facebook, and I found a picture. It was a picture from her wedding night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it looked like Shauna was in the picture, and it was freaky as hell.
Yeah. There are a couple pictures like that.
Yeah.
So like that was weird, and I mean that was like this is a real thing.
Right.
So I mean that was definitely weird.
But you were excited, and you did react. I mean, I you didn't react negatively at all. Like, you know, her initial reaction was negative before.
Yeah.
Before she met
definitely.
her, she was very negative. She was really upset.
Jealous.
So
I
think she was that she wasn't going to be.
I thought that everyone was going to like her better than me.
Well, we do.
Probably. Probably. But I remember calling Mom and I was crying and she was just like, I just feel like that's confirmation that I'm not crazy because I knew he was cheating on his ex-wife and he told me he wasn't, and this is just confirmation that he was, so now I know I'm not crazy. And I'm like, really, Mom? I cannot even talk to you right now.
Upset.
I was mad.
She got really upset with me.
I was so mad. I was
like,
that
is negative. I'm not being negative. It's reality.
Which I understand now, but in that moment, bad timing.
Reality is reality.
It's true, though. Jen Smith, you and your brothers have the same mother and father?
Jimmy?
Yes. but no. So Jimmy, Jason, and I were all raised. So Jason and I are biologically siblings. Jimmy has a different father, but our dad is his dad because he raised him, and they always had that, you know, father-son relationship. So technically we do all have the same father and mother, but biologically he has a different father.
Right.
Let's clarify that, please.
My mom
Sure.
is a hoe. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to put that in there. I'm totally kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I just want to clarify the fact that, you know, that I was a baby having a baby, and his dad and I were married and divorced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So by the time I was 3 years old, she was a single parent with me.
2.
2 years old. Okay, there you go. And then you were remarried to Orlandis when I was like 7 years old.
Orlandis is our dad.
Yeah. And so, you know, my formative years were, like Shanna said, you know, really informed by Orlandis and his presence. And so my joke with people, when people ask me, like, what are you? Because even though I don't look as mixed as them, people are always asking me if I'm mixed. I think just because of maybe my vocabulary, maybe because they see me with all of my, you know, I have a broad, diverse range of friends, you know, and because I'm from Evanston, which is a diverse community, I think that there are a lot of people who, like, when you guys got married, you were living in Hyde Park initially, which was a pretty liberal area. Then you moved to Evanston because it was also pretty liberal and had better schools, quite frankly, than the city of Chicago. But it's sort of a haven for people who are, you know, who have come to America to go to Northwestern, you know, from other countries, or people who are in interracial marriages, or, you know, just it's an open-minded kind of community.
I mean, we chose Hyde Park. Well, yeah, we chose Hyde Park because of the racial diversity.
Yeah.
And Evanston, absolutely, because of the racial diversity.
So, like, the kids ask me at school all the time, they're like, "You're black, right, James?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You're mixed, right, James?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, usually what I say is, I'm half Italian, half Polish, and all black. Because even though I'm not, you know, biologically mixed, I mean, I was raised by a black man, and he raised me like I was his own, and he whooped my ass like I was his own son. And so, you know, I joke with my coworkers sometimes too, like, you know, because the kids ask me that all the time, and a lot of my coworkers, they just say to me, they're like, "You're black, Jimmy. You're black, Jimmy."
So
and I'm like, "I'm not black, but I do use cocoa butter, and I wash myself with a washcloth."
That's hilarious.
Maybe that does make me black. I don't know.
And what in the world made Mom move to rural Alabama?
Good question.
She's got a boo thing. You guys met Steven, and that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's probably the main part.
She just wanted to live in the wilderness and make art and frolic in the the moonlight.
Yeah, it's true.
With her boo thing.
Grandma used to say all the time, if I didn't look exactly like my dad, she would think she got the wrong baby. Because she was such a city chick.
Right.
So
and I was always like, I want to have a potbelly pig. A pig?
That's funny. Vernon Berry asks, Miss Shanna, I am so confused, but here we go. What is birth order and comparative ages?
1972.
1981, 1982. So Jason and I are 11 months apart.
Irish twins, y'all.
Yes. And then Jimmy's 10 years older than us. And then, can you share a little of your parents' story also?
You guys worked at the hospital together, right?
Yeah, that's where I met him. Yeah, he was chasing me up and down the elevators. Trying to get me to go out with him, and I wouldn't go out with him because he was black. No, for real, this is true.
Yeah, well, there was a stigma
I wouldn't
back
go out
then,
with
man.
him because he was black, and I knew my parents would have absolute stroke.
And they did.
And they did.
Initially.
My dad wouldn't even come to my house for a solid year.
Right.
When we got married.
Yeah.
A whole year.
But they came around. I'd say all the time. I say to people, and I said it even back then, like when because, you know, like I said, we lived in Evanston. It was a progressive community, right? Like, I don't know what you're already laughing at.
I'm just thinking the very first time that we ever went out.
Oh, wow.
I told him, now when you come over, when you come to make
Oh, you got to meet him down the block, didn't you?
No!
No?
I said, you have to come in the back door because... No, for real, my landlady was really racist.
Oh, dang.
And
just keep in mind, everybody, this is like back when it wasn't totally and completely unacceptable. Back then, it was all around unacceptable, period.
no,
there was no,
and you have to understand too, like, okay, I was in an apartment with you, and I mean, oh my gosh, you talk about somebody's story, the hell that I went through raising him all those years by myself, and then to have, you know, have Landis come over and like get me evicted, like, you know,
Right.
and you know, it was my first. I never went out with a black man before. I never,
Right.
you know, that was. You don't want to talk about crazy things. That was the craziest thing I
Right.
think at that time.
At that time, sure.
It
Yeah.
was absolutely
That's
the
legit.
most radical, crazy thing I ever did. But, you know, I mean, he like I said, he was chasing me up and down the elevators all the time, trying to corner me. To get me. He did, and Aunt Barb worked at the hospital for a while too, so I used to visit her on her unit there, and he worked down the hall. And so one day I was just sitting there eating my yogurt,
Uh-huh.
and he came and sat down, and I don't remember what he said. He said, you know, just go to lunch, just go to lunch. So I was like, okay. And then I avoided him. I was avoiding him. I figured, you know, we didn't set a solid date, so I said, oh, okay, you know. And I was thinking about it, you know, but then I started avoiding him. So then he started chasing me up, and he'd make sure, you know, he'd wait until I got in the unit, and then he'd follow me into the elevator.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad.
Yeah.
Jackie Glasgow asks, question for Jason. Are you single? If
Yes.
so, how do you feel about May-December romances? Asking for a friend.
First of all, Jason isn't exactly the romantic type.
Actually, I
Yeah,
think
that's, you're
I
wrong
think
about
that
that.
he is. It's
You're
just
absolutely wrong about
has to
that.
be the right person.
I have to care.
Yeah, if he cares,
Well, I think-
he's fully invested, and I feel like he would go out of his
Oh
way.
my gosh, yeah.
Oh, I absolutely think that.
I thought a May-December romance was...
What is a May-December
I think-
romance?
I think, and we'll have to verify this with Google
I don't even
shortly.
know.
I thought it means like a younger woman and an older, or a younger person and an older person.
May-December romance.
May-December.
Maybe. Curly Girl 43 asks, who was the worst growing up? Who got the most whoopings? Jimmy got the most whoopings?
I don't know. You and Jason are a big runner-up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I feel
Oh,
like
I almost got into a fist fight.
well, I never got in any fist fights with Dad, but
He was
I got my ass whooped a lot.
hard.
He was hard on me.
on Jason.
He was hard on Jason too. That's true because he was his own. I guess he was probably a little harder on Jason because, you know, it was actually
He was
his
hard
own child.
on you.
Yeah,
I don't know that he whooped you as much, though, did he?
I mean, I was constantly getting in trouble for lying. And,
Oh, you
know,
are. Oh, God.
slacking off on my chores and, you know, just all kinds of nonsense that a boy
Oh.
shouldn't even get whooped for. But I got my butt whooped.
Oh, you shouldn't?
Who was the most spiritual growing up?
Well, I mean, I read the whole Bible by the time I was 12 years old, and I was listening to like Christian
Yeah.
rock music and
Yeah,
stuff.
he used to go, and
Yeah.
even Pastor Paul, remember Pastor
Yeah,
Paul,
of course.
said that he thought Jimmy was definitely leadership material,
Mhm.
and
I
that
still
he
am.
should be a youth pastor because he had such a thing for children.
So that's Jimmy. Next question. Natural Green Thumb asked a few things that we kind of already answered, but one of the things was, what was the most embarrassing memory growing up? I think I have a couple.
Go ahead.
There was one time, which I don't know, it's kind of funny now, but I remember one time I had like these weights, or Mom had these weights, and I like put the weight under my shirt like they were boobs, and I was standing on the table dancing, and they caught me. It was so embarrassing.
I'll tell you one of my most embarrassing memories.
Do you remember that? I remember that was so embarrassing.
This is not an in-the-house family memory, but it's definitely connected to the family. So, like I said, I was such a liar when I was a kid.
Oh, boy.
I would try to get out of, like, tests at
Wow.
school or whatever. But one day, I called Mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm sick at school. I need to come home. And she was like, no, you're staying at school. And I was like, Mom, I'm really sick. And she was like, no, you're staying at school. And I was like, oh, God. So I sweated my way through the day.
It's so funny.
And I was like, I got to the end of the day, and I was all sick. And I was walking home from Nichols, and I was like, I was so sick. And then, like, I literally, like, I started getting the bubble guts.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be sick. I don't know what to do. And then I was with a couple of my friends, and I was like, I got to run. And I started running. And I was like, like crying and running and like sweating and crying and running. And then as I was running, I just started shitting in my pants. Just shat in my pants on Greenleaf
Oh my
Avenue,
God.
walking from Nichols School to home. In front of all my friends,
That
like a
is
block
bad.
ahead of all my friends.
That's
And then
bad.
I just slowly just waddled home with this mess in
That's
my drawers.
bad.
It's fucking awful, man.
Another embarrassing moment for me was I was at home alone, and I used to always listen to music, and I was cranked up Bohemian Rhapsody, a new version, and was singing. And then all of a sudden, Jimmy, but it was a version without the words. It was just the instrumental, and I was singing so loud, and he was I wanted to die. I was so.
I didn't just open the door and go,
freaking-
Scaramouche,
You
Scaramouche! I didn't. I don't remember that one.
I was so embarrassed.
Did I just start singing
You didn't
along
say
with you, though?
anything
No?
about it, and I was humiliated because I know I sounded terrible, but I would never sing out loud like that unless I was home by myself.
Galileo!
Oh my god, I was humiliated.
Figaro.
Kike Aiko, sorry if I say that wrong. What are the qualities Jason looks for in a woman? What physically attracts him? Skinny, curvy, hourglass, curly, straight, wavy, blonde, black, ginger? Just curious. Smiley face.
What?
He doesn't want to answer. How do Chantel RM asks, how do Jason and Jimmy feel about the attention they get when they visit your vlogs? Have they bonded more with Corrine like Shanna has?
Huh.
Jason hates it. He thinks it's stupid.
Yeah, Jason is not at all interested.
Which is why he's not sitting
Vlog
here with
attention.
us.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind it. We've talked about, me doing something like that because it's, I do like to entertain and whatever, but, there's a certain aspect of it that, I don't know. I feel like I would rather just do my entertaining professionally than personally in a certain way. But I enjoy participating. I do enjoy participating in your thing, and since you started, I don't even remember when you first did it, and you showed me a video you edited. I was like, you do this really well. You've got the eye. You've got the timing. You've got a natural sense of time and rhythm and
That
storytelling
was
and stuff.
the Jimmy versus the little douche.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
But anyway, so yeah, I'm impressed with your ability to do it. So yeah, so I'm inspired by your vlog, and I don't mind answering, questions and being a part of it at all.
Nor do
As
I.
far as the relationship with Corrine, I think you have had the most contact with Corrine because, you guys both being
girls.
female. Yeah,
And we're so much alike. It's
yeah, and
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. And you have obviously I'm kind of the outsider you know, in the blood ties
No.
anyway. Well, I'm just saying, like, you know.
Nobody
So
thinks-
you guys have a
nobody
blood
feels
connection,
that way,
but I'm
though.
just saying it's just.
It's not
So
like that at all.
no. I know it's not really like that, but I'm just saying I think that there is a greater propensity for you two to be drawn together because you
Just
have
'cause
that
they're
connection,
girls.
and because you're
Just 'cause
girls.
we're girls.
But no, I mean I love her and I love talking to her, and her family is fun to have around. And I mean I just wish I, you know, hopefully knock on wood, you know, maybe this year's the year I finally make enough money to be able to go to
I
Switzerland.
know, I'm gonna go this year.
I
for
want to
sure.
go visit them because they've come here a couple times, and
You should come
it's
with
always
me.
so great to see them. And I always feel bad though that they got to come here for us to be able to see them. You know.
Switzerland is beautiful.
I'm going this year.
All right. Hopefully
sure.
I'll go along too.
Lorraine May asks, Jimmy seems very extroverted and Jason seems like an introvert. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
sitting
Jason
over
says
here, right?
yes. How is Jimmy's store doing and Jason's job?
Wow. Well, I'll answer first since Jason is the introverted one of us. The store is doing great. Thanks for asking. We sell a lot of stuff on eBay and Craigslist right now and haven't opened the doors yet and probably won't until springtime. But we've been selling about, you know, a few things a week since we first started. And we'll be naming our shop soon and giving you some more information about that as soon as we have that information available. So thanks for asking.
And Jason's shop is great. Since he doesn't want to participate. F Doctor. How did your parents' divorce affect you? I was traumatized. It was absolutely devastating for me. In 6th grade, they announced that they were separate. They took, I think you probably already knew. She sat Jason and I both down separately, and, well, you did. I don't know if did Dad? No, I don't think he did. Mom sat us both down and told us that they were separated, but told us that they had been separated already for like the last like 6 years or something.
No, it wasn't
No,
that
wasn't that
long.
long.
I thought you said it was.
5 years total.
Same
It
thing.
had, no, it had
No,
only
but it
been
would-
like a year. You guys
it-
didn't
it-
move until
I think it
freshman
is-
year of
I
high
know.
school.
Well, I'm getting there.
No,
So
when I told them, I think it was about 2 years into the separation. And then, I think it,
So then at that point, I mean, that freaking devastated me because I'm thinking, like, we were doing everything together, eating dinner together, going to the park, and, like, all this stuff, like, nothing was wrong, and then boom, like, the shit hit the fan, and I'm like, what? So I was mortified, but then after that, it was horrendous because Dad I feel like he kind of emotionally detached from us after she finally made the decision, which was a good decision to walk away, but he kind of emotionally detached from us, and then it was just like, I mean, everything changed, and I stopped caring because I'm like, I don't know, I guess I felt like everything was so great. Like, I think what I imagine about my childhood, which I know I think that's my self-preservation, I realize as the years go on. I think that I kind of block out all the negative things, or maybe I notice some negative things, I just choose not to remember them, but I remember the childhood being so great and wonderful, and then boom, what?
well, I worked awfully hard to make sure that you didn't suffer
Yeah.
anything negative during that time.
Which I appreciate.
I mean, I understand the shock
Oh, it
factor,
was awful.
but I mean, to tell you don't know how hard it is to
Oh, I can't
go
imagine.
through your daily life and not. I mean, I was trying to protect you so you wouldn't have all. How many times have I asked you over the years, when you think of your childhood, how do you feel?
I mean,
Do you
I always-
have happy memories or do you have bad memories?
I have happy
And that's
memories.
the reason.
Yeah.
That's the reason that I did things the way I did them, because I wanted more than anything in this world for you all to have happy. I mean, I know you had your.
Yeah.
You're like a whole nother realm,
Sure.
but as a unit,
Yeah.
the three of you as a unit, I wanted you to have happy childhood memories because
Yeah.
my childhood memories were so horrendous, and above anything else in my life, That's what I wanted for you.
Yeah, and she succeeded. Like, when I
That's
think
it.
of the childhood, I think, until that point, I think of nothing but good things. Like, I thought we were, like, everyone thought we were, like, the perfect family, I feel like, on the block. And, I mean, but even though your intentions were pure, it was devastating.
Well, it's always
Sure.
going to be devastating.
Yeah, no matter
Yeah,
what, it's
there's
going to be
no-
devastating. I don't feel like Jason was as affected. Me.
No, for Jason, it was preservation.
Yeah. Yeah, because Jason, they have a tougher relationship, but I was mortified.
Well, it's funny for me too. I feel like because I had gone through that with you in a sense, earlier in life, and because I had seen friends have divorce in their life, and other people in our family have divorce in their life, that even though it was painful, and even though I felt that with you guys, there was also a certain amount of resolve, or I don't know, just consolation or something, like knowing that you guys had tried really hard, because like I said, I mean, I'm obviously a lot older than you guys, so like at that point I'm like, wow, they tried really hard. If they can't be together, then I guess they shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? And
More
everyone will be
logical.
happier in the long
And
run.
that's part of the...
And that was hard because, I love our family. I and I do have mostly fond memories of everything, because we had a good thing. But, obviously it wasn't meant to stay.
And that's why, it was, in my mind, it was kind of half and half. Like, half of it you weren't aware, but then there were about 2.5 years, 3 years following, because I'm not sure if it was 2 or 2.5 year mark that I told you. I didn't tell you because it was a separation. And
You don't have to
I didn't
explain.
want you to be all upset, and then we would work it out and it would be okay.
Yeah.
But when I got to the point where I realized,
Wasn't going to happen.
not happening,
Yeah.
that's when I made the decision to tell you. And then, 2.5 years after that, I mean, we still maintained the family unit just for monetary purposes, but then,
Which was horrible.
the divorce was final then,
Yeah.
at about the 5 year mark.
Mm.
So,
And what was your family's reaction about my divorce?
Oof. I couldn't believe it.
yeah, we were all shocked.
So
Couldn't
was
believe
I.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Crazy.
shocked.
I mean,
It was like watching.
Twilight Zone?
Yeah, it was like the Twilight Zone. It was.
well, but again, as much as I was confused and alarmed and concerned, and I just was like, well, again, if it ain't meant to be, it ain't meant to be. So better that you figured it out sooner than later.
Before
Definitely.
children.
Yeah,
Oh my
like
God. My God.
I've had many relationships where I was like in love with somebody and ready to be with them for the rest of my life, and fortunately or unfortunately, things went awry.
Yeah.
And I think it's more fortunate than unfortunate because, like you said, at least there weren't children involved or
Oh my God.
property or all of the other things that make
It
all
would've
that way
been-
more complicated.
20 million times more of a nightmare.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
man.
praise God that it happened when it did.
For real. Where did you all go to school? Chicago is my hometown. Have you been to Hyde Park, Harold's, or Leon's? I know, right?
Yeah.
Where did we go to school? We grew up in Evanston, so we all went to Washington School,
Elementary,
Nichols
Middle School,
Evanston Township High School. And
you
then,
guys moved.
after they got divorced, we moved to Buffalo Grove, Illinois. And we went to Buffalo Grove High School, and that, it was important because they had the vocational program for cosmetology, so that's how I started working so young. So it was good, but it was so hard, and it was such a culture shock. It was awful. Like, I literally, I was like, where's the black people?
Yeah, it's
Like,
Lily
I
White
can't
up in
do
Buffalo
this.
Grove.
So we went to the counselor, and she introduced me to the black kids, which I was like one of 16 black kids. And I was like, I can't,
Wow.
where's the black people?
Yeah,
It was awful. I need
hated
melting
how
pot,
segregated
melting
that
pot.
school was.
yeah.
It was awful.
And it was all
awful.
self-inflicted. Like all
It was
just the fact
bad.
that like when our first day we were introduced to like a black representative.
Well, that's because I
What is
asked
this?
that.
Then it was just retarded. That was crazy.
I asked for that. I was like, give me a black person. There's too many white people. We need a mix, people. We
All the
need
black kids hung out
culture.
with the black kids. All the Asian kids hung out with the Asian kids. All the Mexicans hung out with the Mexican kids. All the white kids hung out with the white kids. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I agree. It was nothing like Evanston.
Oh.
And heck yeah, we went to Harold's. That's
Yeah.
the spot. We would get that like every day. I would bring it home every week practically.
I don't know.
I like the
Leon's, though.
fried gizzards. Leon's or
Which one is
Leona's
Leon's?
or Leon's.
Do they mean Leona's?
I don't know.
Maybe they meant Leona's. I don't know Leon's,
I don't know.
I don't
Leon's
either.
but I'm gonna find out about it.
Right.
Like,
This one, Reve Black asks, this is for Mama. Was Shauna as sweet growing up as she seems to be now? Because she seems to be very sweet and loving person.
oh.
Well, let me tell you.
Oh God.
As a young child, she defined the word sweetness, and then she turned 13.
That was a response to the divorce.
Blame me. No, and then she turned into like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that lasted until,
I moved out.
well, yeah, when you moved out, when you graduated high school, and then you went on your own, and I think it was about 6 months after you were on your own that you became so desperate for the Lord that you turned your life over to the Lord, and then you reverted back to being, well, you were semi-sweet for a while. Semi-sweet for a while, and then back to what I would consider normal.
Good answer.
And I would say that that you've been improving each year
Indeed.
through my hard work. I have to take some credit. Oh, you don't think so?
Don't give her any blame, but give her all the credit.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I accept the responsibility for. I mean, it happened. It happened. I can't
I don't
take.
blame you.
I can't take the blame for it happening.
I mean, the divorce?
Yeah.
Oh, but so that's
For
the thing that's tough, is that even at the time, I didn't really understand until those 2.5 years of like hell, because that was pure hell. But I understood, so I resented her for a while, I think, but at the same time, I understood. Natural Sense asks, who was the mischievous?
Yeah, I think Jason probably broke the
That
bullshit.
one.
Jason.
That one.
Which is so funny to me, because I guess I don't remember that.
You see the pictures of him when he was little, that little imp. He was just the littlest.
He was
Oh,
cute.
yeah.
He was the impiest
cute.
little thing. He was
Yep.
so adorable, but an imp, oh my god.
Oh, and he used the cuteness to get away with all the impishness.
Yes, he did.
I remember that in middle school, me and Shauna switched. She was a bad one. I was
Yeah,
a good one.
you're right.
Well, that's because I just stopped caring. I
Yeah.
was like, F everything. I don't care. Everything's a lie anyway. That's how I felt at the time.
Yeah, I mean, you go through those phases. You
True
know.
that.
Did the three of you fight a lot, or were you good friends? I think we always looked up to Jimmy. Like, Jimmy was like our hero.
Oh.
And because he was a father figure in a sense.
He was absolutely a father
Wow.
figure.
That's
Yeah.
touching.
And me and Jason were like super close. I think we, like she said,
Oh my god, they
already,
wouldn't go to the bathroom without each other.
We were super close. I mean, I remember we used to
No,
sing
never.
"Row, row, row your boat." The row, row,
In
row,
a round.
row, 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 row. We would just like do stuff like that all the time, and play micro machines and Legos and stuff. But then as we got
Our first
older,
video game.
oh yeah, we played
Guerrilla
video
War.
games all the time, and like we were really good friends until I think
School.
middle school, when I just went through a really hard
He
time.
said you betrayed me.
I betrayed him.
How did she betray you?
How did I
It's changed to an asshole. She didn't have nothing to do with me.
Wow.
Yeah, she did. She
Oh,
started
that's
to get
right,
really
yeah.
mean. Although I have to say, when she was little,
Well, yeah, you said I was.
even
I was a
Grandma
kid.
used to comment about her deviousness.
Mm.
Oh,
about like she'd do stuff and
To get
blame
him in
him
trouble.
to
Yeah,
get him
I
in
remember
trouble.
that too.
I don't believe.
Oh
that.
yeah, Grandma used to call me and say, you know, whoa, yeah, oh yeah,
Look out for that one.
yes,
She'd say.
Jason was just
Jason-
straight up mischievous.
No, no,
period.
no. Where you were concerned, Jason loved you so much. I mean, even Grandma used to comment. He'd be like, he'd kiss you on the cheek, and you'd be like, "Get out of here, Jason."
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't.
And he'd be all like, you know, hugging you, and I mean, he just all in.
You were the baby sister.
And even later, when you were like being all evil, he was extremely protective of you, always. Oh my God. And he still is. I mean, I read his little rant on YouTube.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, yeah.
Whoa, what
Seriously.
happened? I didn't see
I
that.
thanked him for that.
He reads all the comments, and somebody made a negative comment about her, and he went on YouTube, and he left this rant on there.
Wow, I missed that.
Yeah.
I read
You
it and I
don't-
was just.
You don't know my sister. My sister is a woman of God, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah,
Good man.
yeah.
Good
He
job,
is a
Jason.
good guy. I did go through a really, I don't know, I think I was just going through a really hard time. I didn't know, one, hormonal stuff, two, the divorce, like, really messed me up. It really did.
Yeah, it did.
And it just threw me for a loop. And I
And
just,
that's
like,
normal.
Starling1990 asks, what does your family think about Greg now?
Yeah, we just don't.
Jason does.
And when we do, we just hope he has peace somewhere. That's
Well-
all, that's all I
Him
can
and his
say.
boyfriend are happy.
Yeah.
Jason. I don't know what I think. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I wish him the best. What can you do?
Again,
I don't.
thank God that
I
it
don't
didn't get to a point.
understand it.
I don't understand it either.
I don't
Thank God that
understand
it happened,
him.
that you both made the realization in a timely
I'm glad
fashion.
it's over.
Yeah. God bless you both.
And that's about it.
Have your brother? Oh, Healthy Cooking TV asks, have your brothers ever dated black women, and what type of guy do they think is best for you? So, have you ever dated a black woman?
Yeah, man, I've dated black women, Asian women.
He's
White
the
women.
Italian stallion
I just love
over
women.
here.
My lady is a Greek lady. I've had.
Goddess.
I have yeah,
That's
my,
what they
my
used-
Greek goddess
That's
right
what
now.
they used to call him in high school, the Italian stallion.
What sort of person do we think is best
That's
for you?
me, yeah.
Just a good person.
Edwoa Sam, sorry if I'm botching that. Is Jason still single? Because I would like to get to know him.
Yes, he is very single.
Since the beginning of this question and answer section, he is still single.
Single, yes.
Beauty by Solarzano asks, which one of your brothers are you close to? And who is the most protective? I would say I'm probably equally as close, honestly, in different ways.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know who's more protective. Honestly, like, I never thought you guys were protective.
I think you're both very protective. I think Jimmy is more, you know, like he's always been more of a father figure. And Jason is just, you know, he's just protective as a brother. He's always been very protective of you.
But in indirect,
Extremely.
not in a controlling way. Like, I think sometimes it's like,
no.
who you dating? I want to meet him. And then sit him down with, like, guns and stuff.
No, no.
Like, it wasn't like that.
No.
But
But
Well,
Jason
actually-
does have the guns now.
He's
Right,
like,
Jason
he
is-
raises
yeah.
his eyebrows. He's like,
now it's different. He's,
Yeah.
you know. Demetrius Williams asks, how did your family address issues related to race and identity? I feel like I've talked about this a little bit, but I feel like it was handled really well because I always remember you specifically always making sure that Jason, I mean, I'm sure you did it with Jason too, but making sure, like, you are the best of both worlds and don't let anybody tell you differently. You are white and you are black. And it was never, I never personally felt confused. Like, a lot of people ask mixed people, like, are you confused? Like, do you feel like you're more one than other? And I don't feel more one than other. I'm not confused at all. It's pretty obvious to me, and I've never questioned it because I feel like she pounded it into our heads that it's just okay and it's good. But I identify more as a black woman just because, I don't know, I just feel like it's just what it is. And that was actually one question, I don't remember who asked it, but somebody asked, then you guys know that I identify more as a black woman.
well, but that's normal because a person always the father's genes are always more predominant.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
That does make
that's
sense.
normal.
Not to mention
But-
the fact that we live in America, where
Right.
if you are any percent black, you're,
You're
black.
It's
And that's
true.
historically speaking, in a negative context, and then it's also just kind of currently speaking, like look at
Yeah.
everyone calls Barack Obama the first black president. He's actually mixed. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's
So
true.
I've had people
But
tell me that I'm not
this-
black because I'm not black.
right, that's bizarre to me.
But then they also ask, what do you guys identify as?
I don't identify as anything.
Well, like I said, I'm
I'm
half
American.
Italian, half
I don't-
Polish, and all black.
Race,
Yeah.
race is nothing to me.
I don't see race. I never
I mean,
have.
it's literally nothing. I take absolutely zero offense to any kind of racism. Someone can call me a nigger. Someone can call me. I mean, I look like a Mexican. I look Indian. I look Arabic. Whatever. Like seriously, if you're offended by a racial slur, you're offended by someone calling you a doo-doo head. That's literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing. I mean, it's so stupid. And not only that, but like if someone is trying to call you a nigger or whatever, they want a reaction.
They want you to
Yeah,
react.
yeah, it's
The
their
best thing to do
character
is if you
deficit.
ignore them, pretend they don't exist, and that will piss them off way more.
True.
And I enjoy that.
That's
I
funny.
will-
Jason needs to
I-
get his
That's a
own
good-
damn channel.
That's a good point, though.
anyway, and it if
Yeah.
it pisses them off, cool. I mean, so
And-
you hate me for no reason.
And I've done
Like,
my
whatever, kiss
part
my
for
ass.
racial reconciliation.
But yeah,
You should
racial
have.
stuff is it's not even.
I have my place
even
in
on my
history.
radar.
Jason, you're talking way too much.
Oh,
Whatever. I think you need to be in this.
If you're asking me how I identify, look, I did a whole one-man show called Wigger Lover. White boy plus black dad equals gray areas. So I think that, having grown up in an interracial family and being white, operating in white circles, having white people say white things around me about black people and assuming that I'm just some other white guy and having to take those kinds of things personally, I certainly don't identify as black, but I would agree that race is kind of inconsequential to me, and that I think from a very young age, probably since you got married to Dad, I've been sort of like a race warrior, on my own level, in my own little ways, because it's obviously one of the biggest issues in this country, but it's also, like Jason said, one of the most unimportant issues if you really think about it. And so I've been sort of aware of race in a major way since I was very little, but also kind of trying to transcend that in a lot of everything I do,
Yeah. And the last question I'm going to ask, somebody asked, get 3 words to describe each other.
Whoa.
oh, that's hard.
That is hard. Why wouldn't you give us a clue?
But you should have gave us a clue. Yeah,
God
that
dang
What do
it.
you mean? How would you describe...
because that's something to really ponder.
It's not hard for me.
No? Okay,
It's
well,
not?
because you also read it 14 hours ago.
Well,
Yeah.
at least.
But I know you guys. I would say that you are loving, generous, selfless.
Okay.
You're hilarious, super loyal, and very generous also.
Okay.
There's so many words I could use to describe him. And Jason, I always describe Jason as just like a giant teddy bear.
He's
Giant
my
teddy
gentle
No.
giant.
Like a gentle giant. Like he's
Yeah.
super loyal. Like he tries to act like he's
He
I
tries
hate
to,
everybody.
he tries to act detached.
Yeah, but he's so
he's
loyal.
the cool, aloof, detached one.
But he has a huge heart, and he's a hard worker. So loyal, super kind-hearted, and a hard
It's not a
worker.
big word.
Isn't it? Shut
That's
up.
not 3
If you
words.
hyphenate those words. Right?
I think he's definitely the gentle giant. That's what I always say about him. And he is very, 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 very gifted.
Oh, super gifted. It's ridiculous. And selfless in a lot of ways.
No. Jason looks out for number one, boy. I'll tell you that.
I can be pretty selfish.
I feel like now you're getting more selfish.
No.
But I feel like if I ever need you, you're there.
He's always there for you.
But that's not.
For sure.
That's not self.
He's
not
always,
That's
I think he's always there for all of us, really. If we need him.
That's not selfless.
Dependable
Selfless is
versus selfish.
sacrificing
But I feel like
your needs for someone else's needs.
I mean, all the times I'm like, Jason, can you do this for me? Jason, can you do that? I guess I look at like the little things, like the little annoying things, like, can you go to the store for me? Like, I hate going in the store. Oh my god.
He's always like begrudgingly helpful though, like.
But he does it without.
Yeah.
Like, he always does it though.
Yeah. You, on the other hand, are extremely gifted as well.
Okay.
But you're also, I think you're very quick to help.
Very quick.
Very quick.
And sometimes you're like,
you
sit down.
anticipate.
Just relax.
No, I mean, I live to serve, man. I mean, that's...
You anticipate needs, and that, to me, you know, I that's always important to me. It's something that I always try to do myself. So, I think, you know, that's a great quality. And what else?
Yeah, you go above and beyond, for sure.
I mean, I think you're very loyal, too. Extremely loyal.
I have tried in all things to be loyal, for sure.
And Shauna, well...
Oh, God.
No, I made a canvas for you.
No.
What were the words that I used to describe you? I referred to you as I would say that you're a woman of God. I think you've developed into a woman of God. A strong woman of God. And I think you're very giving, extremely giving. Extremely giving.
Interesting.
And what else?
Interesting.
And I think she is very giving. Extremely. I mean, I'm trying to.
Why you say interesting though? Like it's not
I guess
true.
I'm trying to think of the most important. Like there's a lot of words that I could use for all three of you.
Right.
The most important, I think, you know, would be number one, woman of God. Number two, giving, and I think those two go hand in hand. Faithful. And of course, everybody knows you're beautiful.
Oh.
And of course, you guys are very handsome as well.
Stop.
So that's 4 words. The Italian stallion.
Oh, stop it.
Jason, your turn.
Sorry, I mean, I have to think about that. I don't just want
Apparently we suck. Just kidding.
I mean, I've always called you selfless.
She's talking about mom.
Yeah. Too much, I think. I'm trying to avoid, like, you know, generic, like, loving, and I mean, it's almost kind of given. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll just do one word, and that would be selfless for you. You, like, I would almost say, like, I don't know if there's an actual word for it, but just like
Talking about me.
like a transformation. Like it's probably one of the most, like, the weirdest thing. Like, I always tell people when I have to talk about you.
When I have to talk about you.
Well, when the people ask about, you know, you, but how, you know, we used to be, you know, at odds all the time, and like when I went to go live with you
Right.
in Chicago, that's when, you know, that's right after the, you know, my scar, and, you know, we hated each other, or at least, well, it seemed like we hated each other because we were not friends at that point. And then I go stay with Jimmy for a couple months, and then Mom wanted me to go to church with you guys, so I go to church and I meet you after, you know, months, and I mean, like, totally different person. I mean, it was bizarre how different you were, and I mean, it's
pretty radical.
I mean, it was like crazy how different you were. I'm like, this is Shanna, right?
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird because I mean, like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. It was so weird.
I mean, I remember Jason said one time, we were talking about miracles, and he goes, I believe in miracles. I've seen 3 big miracles, and one of them was after Shauna got baptized, or I guess it was that situation. She wasn't a bitch anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. Oh, and then, you know, you, Jimmy, I would say father figure. Like, you've always been a father
Wow.
figure.
That's touching. I mean, I was just trying to, you know, take care of you guys and make sure that, you know, I didn't get in trouble when you got when mom and dad came back home.
I'm like, you know, and
Just trying to make sure the house wasn't burned down.
and that's not like a slam on dad either. I mean, you know, dad worked what?
Oh, yeah.
3-4 jobs or something like
No,
that.
he worked 2 jobs, but he.
Okay.
Yeah,
But like, you know, he would come home at what,
Served
3
him
o'clock in the
well.
morning, sleep on the couch until like 7 o'clock in the morning, and then go
Right.
back to work.
Yeah.
So he was, you know, he didn't have time to, you
Yeah.
know, do anything. So you were the one that, obviously, when we got a little bit older, you know, you would take us to, you know, go do things and
Sure.
you know, stuff like that. So
Yeah, no. I tried to make
I
sure
think-
we had fun too.
Dad did a lot with us.
he did. I mean,
But I
Dad was
feel like
he
on an
coached every
Yeah.
team
Yeah.
I played on. I don't know how he found the time to do that.
But I feel like on an emotional level, you probably connected more to Jim.
Well, yeah, Dad's
Well,
not
sure. I mean,
emotional.
the stuff that Dad did with us was more like on a weekly basis, and the stuff we did together was like on a daily basis. Like I was the one that was like, "You need to hurry up and get your teeth brushed. You need to hurry up and take this garbage out. You know, help me take this dog out or whatever. You know what I mean? Like we were like doing it. You know, so
And I used to always, like when you had the basement, I used to
Oh,
always
yeah.
like to go down and hang out in the basement.
Yeah, it was
totally.
like the coolest thing.
we had a lot of fun in the basement. So I've kind of boiled it down to just a few for everybody. So I'm going to go around. So creative, spiritual,
Generic.
inspirational,
That's so
No, but for different reasons. Because your resilience, right? You're very resilient, and you taught me how to be resilient. You're very determined, and I think you've taught
Yeah,
me.
that's a good word.
You've taught me how to
For
be
you,
determined,
yes.
even though you were my younger sibling. I think, like,
did?
yeah, even just like,
I've learned things from you
Yeah.
like that. Yes.
like you just alluded to the fact that like you knew. I mean, like I knew in high school what I wanted to do too, but I didn't have as clear cut of a path necessarily. You were like, I want to do this. I found a program. I'm going to do it. And I was like, damn, that's impressive. I need to get my shit together. You know what I mean? Like, and then the 3 that I already said, right? Creative, spiritual, inspirational, and analytical. Like your analytical nature has
Very.
inspired me to be more analytical too. You know
He's
what I mean? Like,
analytical. You're more critical.
I'm just critical?
No, I don't mean
Wow.
that in a negative
okay,
way.
wow.
That's not negative.
Okay.
I mean, there
Sure,
are
no,
people
I-
who critique.
Sure.
You find you.
I analyze as well.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a form of
Sure,
analysis.
sure.
But it's like a real attention to detail.
I can qualitatively, yeah,
Yes.
I can, yeah, I
Yes.
see what you mean.
Not
yeah,
negative
sure.
at all.
Sure. No, I feel you. So anyway, so yeah, so because I'm inspired by all you guys, and motivated to do more creative things, you know, for you, with you, you know, about you.
Oh God.
You've already done about me.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's our turn.
There's a-
So I'm still trying to
There's
figure
a
out why
play
you
floating
said
around the whole
interesting
country about me.
to me being generous.
Yeah, what is your
What was that?
I don't know.
What was the first thing that came to your mind?
Nothing. I just thought it was interesting that was like one of the things that you went to first. I guess that's all.
Yeah, well, because I probably know her better than anybody.
Sure.
I do have to say though, you know, you are generous, but I think you're more generous. I think you would rather be generous with money than your time.
No, that's very true.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Oh,
very true.
absolutely.
I've noticed that
Yes.
about myself.
Yes.
Why don't you go to the store for me?
But that's your benefit. See, I'm like, shoot, I don't have to go to the store and he can make some money. So I'm really trying to help him.
Yeah.
You're telling yourself that too.
No, they have businesses that run errands for people. They get paid to run errands.
Sure.
I'm like, because I'm thinking, because Jason, you know, there was a point where he was struggling a little bit, and I'm just like, okay, well, he needs to make some money, so, like, I'm lazy. So why not?
You're not lazy.
I'm lazy when it comes to going to the store. I'm lazy when it comes to certain things. So I'm like, why not offer Jason some money? I can help him out, and I don't have to go.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a win-win-win-win-win.
Exactly. I don't care to lose $20.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Don't you think that was helpful?
Well, yeah, it was helpful. It's just it's an observation.
It's just it's a
It's an
weird. I guess that was the reason for my because I hadn't thought of that aspect of her behavior as really being generous as much as I thought of it as being like, yeah, I don't know,
Like, you're seriously willing to lose $20 because your lazy ass doesn't want to get out of the car?
Totally. Just an interesting way of looking at it.
It's so funny.
Are we
Well,
done?
I guess we're done. Thank you, Jason, for participating from a distance. That was nice. Well, I guess that's the end of the video. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's very long, I know, but hopefully you enjoyed it. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up because it really helps my channel. Comment, share, subscribe, and help me to continue growing my family. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
And it's a wrap.